Hey guys, so I am now in my office rather than bed, and I'm going to do a bit of analysis. So what I'm going to talk through today is buying the flat that I've made a few videos on. It's a 80,000 pound terraced house that had around 40,000 pounds spent on it. It was a bit of a long project. I was, to this day, unsure whether it was a success or a failure. So in this video, I'm going to run through the numbers and show you how much profit or loss it's making, how much cash was left in, etc. Hope you find it useful. Alright, so the spreadsheet is ready to go. And let's just run through it. So we've got this terraced house right there. So far it's the best in my portfolio because everything else is a flat. The purchase price for it was £80,000. You then have to pay 8% ADS, additional dwelling supplement, in Scotland. That was 6.4k. You have to pay the legal. The deposit was 25% of the purchase price. So the cash left in initially was £27,900. We've then realised it needed a full refurb, and it ended up costing more than we expected. And the way we funded the refurb is actually taking a loan out through the company, and then a little bit of it was cash. So we paid a bit ourselves from our money, and the rest was done through a loan. So total cash put in was that 27,900 plus the 2,000, which was just under 30,000. So after it was all done, we were £30,000 into this deal, and the total borrowings for this flat were 95,000, and that included the £60,000 mortgage as well as the loan for the refurb. So the total money in the flat in this, not in this deal, but in this property, that's both borrowing and cash, actually ended up being £124,900. So quite a lot of money. I've had a chat with the estate agent, and he said that minimum I would expect for this property would be 135, but because of the condition, you're probably going to be 140, 150. But I'm just taking the conservative estimate of 135. It means that the property all in was 124,900, and it's now worth 135. So it's not exactly a phenomenal return or uplift. However, it's a very high quality asset for renting, and people are going to enjoy it for many years. I'm not going to need to do much maintenance. It is pretty much good to go. The flat has now been rented for a few months. The rent is £1,100 a month, which is quite good for a £135,000 house. I know a lot of people down south would be like, how's that possible? I've got a £500,000 house and that's the rent that I'm getting. But that's the rent in this area. Thankfully, they're quite high, and you get a really high quality asset. As I said, the refurb like that, it just doesn't exist in any of the neighbouring houses. We have a mortgage of £400, so on that £60,000, the monthly payment is £400 a month roughly, and the loan is around £700. The reason the loan is so high is because we've taken it over 5 years. We've actually taken a bigger loan, but we needed some money for other things, so the portion of the loan for the refurb is around £700. It's only for 5 years. The mortgage is for 20 years, the loan is for 5 years. That's why the payment is significantly higher. So the way the accounts would probably look for this property, very, very simply put, is we're going to get the rent in, we're going to deduct the interest for both the mortgage and the loan. They're both around 5%. I've just estimated that obviously each year it's the highest now, then it's going to decrease. It's probably a bit higher, but I've just estimated that from this 1,100, 300 interest and the rest is repayment. So we take 300 out, we're left with £800 profit. After tax, that's £648 profit, minus the borrowings that are remaining. So that minus the interest is £800. So the monthly surplus or deficit in our case is minus £152. So what this analysis tells us is that we've went and got this pretty nice terraced house, and now it's actually losing us £152 a month. So looking at it like that, you think, why the hell would you do any deal like that? I mean, it makes no sense. It's a loss-making asset. Even with the rent that you're getting, you're going to have to subsidize it a little bit every month. Why would you ever do that? And let me explain to you. At first, I also thought probably not the best purchase, probably a poor decision. However, just look at it like that. In 5 years, the loan is going to be paid off. So the only thing that will be left will be the mortgage. We are already, I would say about 8-9 months in with this property. So in 4 years and 3 months, the loan will be paid off. After 5 years, the value will go up. I have assumed 5% per year growth. The value in 5 years of this property will be around 170 to 173,000. The mortgage amount remaining will be 50,500, so it will decrease from 80 minus 20, so it will decrease from 60 to 50 because of obviously capital repayments that are happening. And the monthly rent will go up a little bit. I don't usually increase it every year by 5-10%. I usually just do one increase every, 4 or 5 years. I would say to £1,200. So what that will mean that in 5 years' time, we're going to have an asset of £172,000, and we're only going to be owing £50,000 on it. So it's going to be 120 odd thousand pounds of equity that's going to be there in that asset. So it's going to be a very high quality asset. My bottle has reminded me to drink, so 1 second. A very high quality asset, a very low mortgage on it, very manageable, very decent rent, and the mortgage payments will still be the same. So mortgage monthly will still be £400, right? So what you want, how the account would look then is as follows. Let's just remove all that. You would be getting £1,200. You would take away the interest. It's going to be just the interest on that £400 a month. In 5 years' time, I don't know what the interest is going to be, just say £120. So that minus the interest, you're left with a profit of 1080. We take that profit and we tax it at 19% corporation tax. So 0.81 is the remaining. So that would be remaining. The remaining borrowings will be 400 minus the interest there. So 400 minus 120. Sorry. So 280, which means that we're going to have that minus that. We'll be paying off the flat and we'll be left with a surplus of around £600 a month. So in 5 years' time, the quality of the asset is going to be amazing. Low mortgage, relatively good value. Because the refurb has just been done, I would say 10-15 years, there shouldn't be any major issues whatsoever. So we are all sorted, and in 5 years we'll go from subsidizing the property to easily getting £600+ from it every month. So some people will look at it differently. Right now it's an asset that's going to be subsidized by other properties. Because I've chosen this route with the refurb loan of 5 years. So now this £100 odd a month is going to be subsidized to make this asset really good in 5 years' time with a higher value, low mortgage, and a really good cash flow. So a bit of a difficult one. You know, when you do all this analysis, it feels like the crappiest deal ever and something that nobody should get involved in. However, if you look long term, which you always should do with property, just in 5 years' time, it will be a great asset. I want to keep this asset for 20-30 years. So I will keep benefiting from the capital growth, higher rents, and providing a really good quality home for families for many, many years. Because now I've changed the fence, as you've seen in the videos, so it's got a little private garden. It's got a little rear garden as well, so it's a perfect little home for some family. So that's my analysis. I hope that makes sense to you. It's not for everyone, those types of deals, but I hope you understand my logic on it and why I think this is a good asset. I will do more videos just like this in the future, so subscribe and looking forward to the next one.